Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? As you guys probably know, I have been sick over the past few days, but I haven't stopped playing. So as a result, we have hours and hours of footage without my beautiful voice. I know it's garbage, sorry. So what happened during those days? Well, I can show you the end result. I can even show you a montage. But that doesn't really give you a sense of scale, which will cause someone to call me lazy for some reason. So we're going to measure everything in days, so that you will also have a sense of scale. I'm missing a block. My bad. Anyways, let us get started. On day 1, I visited the Amorisma, which is a warper dimension, in search of crystal matrix ingots. You can find them in huts, and we do need quite a bit of them for what I want to do, to make our lives easier. After getting back to the overworld, I started working on the Fissile Queen, which we got earlier in this series. She's going to provide us with the HEUF fuel for the fission reactors. That fuel is going to provide us with different isotopes of meatballium for the future, and I also imprinted the princess with the correct genes. Talking about fission reactors, I started tearing them down one more time because we need to overhaul them one more time. I started preparing the area for a massive setup, and I also set up a terraformer because I really hate the dark oak forest. And no, it's not just the grass. Based on the designs in the JEI, I set up 20 reactors, 16 of them are operational, 4 of them we don't have the fuel for them yet. And then I spent a crazy amount of time building. And I just wanted to mention, I'm really happy with the result. We're finally making an impact on the map. Also, every single reactor that you see in front of you is coded, and also behind you. After the reactors, I continued with the third mythic shell by visiting the dimension Lunalos. I used the scanner modules which we get as a quest reward in order to find the lunar orb, moonlight orb, lunar creation altar in order to get myself the observing eye. I dropped the eye on the vigilant altar in order to summon the boss, and yes, I killed him. The third and final dimension of the third mythic shell is called Borean. I right clicked with a water bucket on a water post in order to get the pure water stone, and I used it on the Hydralisk altar in order to summon the first boss of this dimension. Hydralisk is protected by a shield, so you cannot damage him. So what I had to do was to kill his minions in order to get the Hydro stone, and then right click it on him to remove the shield, and then yes, I killed him too. There is also a second boss in this dimension called Drake, and for him we need to do some fishing in order to get the call of Drake. I used it on the Drake altar, I summoned him, and yes, he got stuck and I killed him. Now it was time to set up the resource miners of the third mythic shell. The reactors that we made earlier in this episode were used in order to provide us with the isotopes that we need in order to make the caps. I set up all the parts, and I also got enough galactic matter and lymph of Pixonia so that we would be able to operate them for a while. After finishing the third mythic shell, it was time to get some bright steel, and the only way that we can obtain it at this very moment is through a bright steel chicken. So I had to 10 them, and finally I did manage to get my bright steel, but the moment that I got it, we had a guest, which was weird. With the bright steel that we got, I made myself the Elven Metallurgy Guidebook, which will increase the Astral perks to 45, and will also unlock diamond lattices. Even though we have unlocked the knowledge of producing diamond lattices, it's still a rabbit hole. We were missing the Apalakia gem, so I visited the dimension, and after finding it, I used it in order to make neodymium. We need 12 diamond lattices in order to make a crystal matrix block. And the reason that we have done all of this is to make something called the creation altar, meaning that it was time for a brand new chicken and tons of spirit fragments. And yes, at this very moment I don't really have a better option, so eating nightmare fuel is the only way possible. And it's fun. But although everything is very grindy, at least we are progressing, so I can't really find anything to complain about. With the creation altar made, it is time to pump in the fluids, and our first craft will be the Proxima artifact that will sacrifice my engine ring. Although I can still fly with my current armor, so it's not a big deal. Proxima artifact is going to give us the Proxima warper, which is going to take us to the Proxima belt. What we were looking for on Proxima belt was the unidentified body, fluix plasma, unidentified gem, as well as ascended draconium. Also, the yellow power flower with 300 million EMC per second was an added bonus. At this very moment, unidentified body is the main crafting component that we need in order to progress. And sadly, we need at least half a stack of them in order to make the extreme crafting table. 16 of them were used for the extreme crafting table, and 16 of them are going to be used in order to make the unidentified chicken so that we don't have to visit Proxima belt ever again. Although at this very moment everything is super expensive, so we're just going to have one garbage chicken. And finally, we use the extreme crafting table in order to make our first neutronium collector. And that, ladies and gentlemen, gave us a pile of neutron. Well, 21 of them to be exact, which is a quest, yes. No, well, that was my entire progress when I was sick. But still, we need to progress further. If we do manage to get the Apalakia star, I consider that quite an achievement, because we're going to be at chapter 7. The problem is this quest that you see over here, the mythic excavation reactor. And well, it's a teeny tiny bit involved and I have no idea what half of these things are. But we do have to start somewhere, and I was thinking maybe we start with the fluix microcontroller. What that requires is a summoning computer, which is apparently a cold stone. And if I have not done anything wrong, there you go. If it's a cold stone, then we have to do it far, far away from our base. This should be fine. Let's get a few charms of keeping, just in case. I don't know, maybe there's a computer which is going to kill us. You jerk. I don't have oxygen on this armor. We have to switch. Just in case, let us send the warper back home. Get ourselves a totem of undying, just in case. And right click. Oh, you're the computer. You're suffocating. Let me help. Only 3000 health. That's good. He died. That went surprisingly amazing. So this guy has EMC and it's 1 billion. And that was it. Let's get some fading matters then. I don't really know how many of them we need. Anyways, from all the garbage that we needed, at least we don't need the fluix microcontroller. From here onwards, let us move in order. Crystal matrix ingot. Well, obviously we can find them. We can craft them like so, which is not amazing. Or there's actually a far better recipe inside an alloy furnace. The original pattern that we had for the unidentified ingot is no longer valid. Well, it is valid, it's just ridiculous. It's true, it's a garbage chicken, but what can you do? We go with this one. And here is a pattern for a crystal matrix ingot. The next item that we need is the empowerment core, and that's not really fun. Let's set it up over here for now, because I'm not exactly sure how it's done. Basically, we have a honey smelter princess, correct? If we put a flower pedestal in front of it, and give it some flowers, and if we put iron on the pedestal, it's going to convert it into honeycomb ingot. Not during the night, but it's decently fast. How do we automate this? Also, by automation, I'm even okay with garbage. Okay, that works. So we can have a filter not to extract the iron and put the result inside an ender chest. And it works. Well, I guess let us have an EMC link with some iron. What can go wrong? It can run forever. We do have the patterns for the empowered crystals, so this is our pattern. And since for the moment we just need 8 of them, let's order it and see how it goes. I have 9. I need 2. Well, that means I can have 4, right? We just want to make sure everything works, and yes, my Tower of Empowers works perfectly. From the first row, bright steel alloy gear was just a bunch of patterns. So yes, we can craft it. Actually, it's been a minute. What happened? I think something got stuck. Mythic processors again, I think. Well, that worked. That also worked. I blame the mythic processors. Anyways, I have also noticed that the matter fabricator is also a bunch of patterns. So there you go. This one should go without any hiccups. Yes, the mitral singularity, by mistake, I made a stack, so we have quite a bit. But if we come to the second row, we're going to run into a few problems. We need the entropy construct, and we need glycerol. There are different ways of getting glycerol, but I'm not going to go with Tech Reborn. It needs a distillation tower. I don't like towers. We are going to go with a mod whose name I shall not mention. First things first, we need nitrogen, which thankfully there is a nitrogen collector for it. So there you go. A bit of a complicated process for just making a single cell, which is used in a single machine, which is part of something bigger, but we do have a manufactory, which is converting charcoal into pulverized charcoal. We're melting it down and we're getting carbon. Carbon is mixed with nitrogen and we get nitrocarbon. That is mixed with water and we get glycerol. And obviously if we want to make cells, it's decently fast. And yes, water can go inside the fluid infusers, but I have disabled this side. So that takes care of glycerol. Now we need the entropy construct, which is going to be really fun. No, I'm joking, we have to automate entropinium. Well, not entropinium per se, a petal apothecary. Also, it doesn't have to be something fancy, we can just do it way over here. Actually, we can't really do it over here at our runic altar because I do have a hopper hawk, and that can conflict. Automating the petal apothecary is incredibly simple, but the only thing that we have to pay attention is that we have to add a seed at the end of the pattern. If you don't want to be cheaty, you also have to use a water bucket at the start of the recipe. But we are cheaty, so we're going to use an everfull urn. It will recognize the petal apothecary and it will fill it in with water. Voila. Then the only thing that we need is an interface. The pattern goes in, one open crate like so. We shall put the interface to lock until primary results are returned, and one hopper hawk like so. So if we order like 10 entropinium, let's see how it goes. Oh, it's also crafting ruins. Fine. But that is our first flower. The second one, it's working. Water is not going in, you're slow. Okay, the issue can be easily solved by adding more everfull urns. And they do have EMC, so who cares? I have tried it a few times, we have like 50 of them left. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, you see, every time one of the urns is filling in the petal apothecary. So they take turns. which is good. By having entropinium, the arcane entropinator is fully automatic. So if we want to craft 10 of them, it's not a big deal. However, we needed that item in order to make the entropy construct. And for this, we have a bit of a problem. One is that we need a puppet. Puppet requires Spanish moss and spirit string. Spirit string requires Spanish moss. So long story short, we need Spanish moss. Just in case you're wondering, getting Spanish moss in Bewitchment is super easy. All you need to do is to find a swamp biome, and there you go. That is Spanish moss. I think you have to use shears. So this part is... whoa. There was a hole. So obviously this part was super easy. How would you get thousands of them? Well, thankfully there is a villager who sells it. That's a cow. We need villagers. Not that different though. We get rid of the extra ones, as usual. We want Hedge Witch. That one. Stop spawning. Give me garbage. You shut up. You shut up too. Give me more garbage. A bit more garbage, I guess. And that is Spanish moth. Perfect. So you, kind sir, you come with me. The rest of you, I shall guide you to heaven. This is not an incredibly fast setup, but at least we can make our construct. For the moment, we do have the infusion stones, but later on we have to gather more. There is a way of automating it, but this is also fine. The next item on the list is the stellar capacitor, and that is something that I wanted to automate a long time ago. The problem with the stellar capacitor is that you need bottled hellfire, and well, it's made in a distillery. So you can't really just auto-craft it, I guess. And the other reason that I never did that was that I was waiting for rhenium. And now we have 375,000 rhenium, so I kind of forgot. However, first things first, bottled hellfire requires tallows. I can use the cheaty tallow from Rustic because I added the mod, but we won't do that. We go with beef. We do have a machine somewhere which is making us tallows. I have already made 1,000. Let's make 10,000 so that I don't have to worry about it ever again. And that is also an automated distillery making us bottled hellfire. It's a teeny tiny bit different than other automations because if you want to use a limited item filter, you can't put in 2 stacks. And if you use thermal expansion, it just puts in 2 stacks of everything. And the distillery is kind of a jerk. If you have 1 extra item, it's not gonna work. So I'm using the best of both worlds. I'm using Ender.io with limited item filter, and I'm using a resonant filter from thermal expansion with a phantom face. That one is for tallows, the Ender.io is for the rest of the garbage. But now this is on auto crafting and well, we can craft it easily. It's also semi-cheap. So our next item on the list is the Americium RTG. That was a pattern. I already set it up. Then we need the cyanide cell. Cyanide cell is an upgraded version of sodium and potassium, and we are producing it here. I don't want to produce it again. Who shot at me? You? Jerk. Well, that is sodium, and that one is potassium. I want to try and do this without adding extra machines. I have an idea. Let us get 2 phantom faces with some phantom boosters. I have a slight channel problem over here. I'm using 32 channels. I have to start rearranging them. I have an extra one. A P2P tunnel. I did something, then I completely forgot. But what we can do is that we can add 2 storage buses, phantom faces. Then we're going to try and find the drawers like this one. We add you here and add some boosters. Cool. So which one did I connect? Yeah, it's the potassium one. We now take the sodium. And I think 2 boosters? Cool. This is a very small problem that I have with this mod pack, and that is, well, it does require different items from a single chain of production. You know, you do something, then halfway through, you need something from the middle of the production chain. But in any case, that is also off the list, and we are left with a few items. Bright steel case, reactive fluix, tool forge, and divine singularity. They sound easy, but when you look at the recipes, you're like, oh my goodness, I just want to quit. Look at this one. So this is something that I had to do a bit earlier, but I guess it's better to do it late than never. These machines are extra, because now we have a crystallizer setup. Let's remove them. We want to try and automate singularities. Most of the singularities are 5056 items. So I have a weird looking pattern that 5056 gold gives you a singularity. It's 4096 plus 15 stacks. Although gold is not the best to start with because there is an easier recipe. But you get the gist. So if we have some sort of an interface, then we try to get one of these large storage crates. That was a quest. But it does have EMC. Then we put the pattern inside the interface, we put it on blocking mode, I'm not sure. Then we get some test locators with a quantum compressor. Clearly gold was not the best option, we have 110 of them. But can we order one? Okay, everything goes in. Yeah, that can work. We just need to upgrade everything. Using the same concept, can we have our divine singularity? The problem with divine singularity is that you need divine stone, so it has to craft it. It's crafting it very slowly. Also, divine singularity has way more problems. Because you will get divine stone from the endergenic mythic void resource miner. There's a 5% chance of getting 2. You can also craft it using divine shards, but that's also not very efficient. You know, 1 with 1% chance, 4 with 5% chance, and 1 with 3% chance, so it's garbage. Unless we spawn something inside wood. You're good. Also, this is horrifying. I might have to use a crafter. Yeah, I do have crafters which are not doing anything. I have redone the pattern, everything is done inside the crafter at maximum speed, and I have added way more quantum compressors. Let's see how divine singularity works now. Although remember, we still need to automate divine shards. But for now, let us try to have the one and see if it's any faster. I don't know if it's faster. Okay, that's a problem. I guess it has to warm up. I don't know. Well, we don't need millions of it. Maybe 100, maybe 200. But yeah, compared to applied energistics, this seems to be a bit faster. Not amazing, just a bit faster. The singularity itself is surprisingly fast. Cool. We will fix the wood farm later on. For now, I just want my star. Actually, most of the things that we are going to do today, we have to fix later on. But we do need to progress until we run out of juice. For example, one of those things is pink slime. We have a few thousand of it, but we need to fix that one too. So we're just gonna bookmark it for later on. You know, I checked a lot when I was making alloys passively, and I realized crystalline pink slime does not have any uses. Yes, you can make conduits, etc. You need a few blocks, that's it. But it never occurred to me that I have to check the tool forge too. But it's fine. 2 more objects left. One of them is reactive fluix. Let's focus on this one first. Both of the items we did manage to find on Proxima belt. The unidentified gem can be duped using warlock gem. So let me fix the crafters, I'll be right back. Okay, so hear me out on this one, cause a lot of you are not going to agree with this. There is absolutely no point in automating the reactive fluix, because the only use that it has is for making mythic excavation reactors. Let's say you need 200 of these, so you need 800 of the reactive fluix. Just to be sure, let's say even you need 2500 of these. The other use that it has is to make the pulsating fluix. It is used in the primordial catalyst, which is used in the third order mythic fractal, which is used in something else, and at the end of the day it is used in the halite ingot. Halite ingot is literally the end game because you can make the TARDIS out of it, and even the Sword of the Cosmos and Infinity Armor. So again, you don't need millions of it, maybe you need 100 halite ingots maximum. So that will bring up our total of reactive fluix that we need to around 3,000, and I'm being very generous here. And I'm going to be even more generous and say we need 10,000 of it. So instead of spamming machines, we're just gonna make 10,000. Call it a day. And I already have a setup for it. So let's get some ultimate nuggets. This setup that we have over here is going to give us imperfect neutronium nuggets. And yes, I have been making it for a while. Don't ask me why. We do need to have a pattern for the actual ultimate ingot because we need the nuggets. We actually had to do this after we got augerite, because I think this is the most efficient way. For the moment, later on there's an ore. We do need to have a pattern for the terrestrial artifact. This is from Biomes of Plenty. And thankfully, I'm actually processing all the gems. So if I want 100 of the ultimate ingot, I should be able to easily craft it. Perfect. And it's surprisingly fast. I can live with that. So we can make more nuggets. And now we need to fix the fluix plasma. That's why we needed the imperfect neutronium nuggets. Well, there is a fluid infuser here, and the way that it works is that you can't get more fluix plasma, you have to dupe it. Every imperfect neutronium nugget gives you an extra 100 millibuckets. And I just wasted a bucket because this is a fluid infuser. We need an enricher. So as usual, what we should be able to do is that we should be able to have a conduit like so, set it on some sort of a loop with a higher priority so that it constantly makes it. Let's add a few more buckets to help it out. Yeah, there you go. Reactive fluix. And that should be a quest. Thank you. That's enough fluix plasma in order to make 1200 of it, so it hasn't been even 10 minutes. Yeah, some things are just not meant to be automated. Anyways, let's move on to the final item. So first off, what we need are weird gears. Of all the items that you see over here, the only thing that we're missing is the bright steel alloy plate. It's not that horrifying. I even have the bright steel alloy on auto crafting, so we can craft it. However, the only thing that we're missing is the tungsten molybdenum dust, which comes from crystallized tungsten steel, which comes from... not that bad. We just need a tartaric gem. So it's dolomite. Maybe we should dupe a bit. Wait, you don't dupe dolomite? Oh, you craft it. Oops. Oh yeah, that's how you make it. Okay. Now we know. We do need to have tungsten steel, which I don't think there's going to be any problems in crafting it. Lovely. And we just need the Appalachia chunk. Cool. We have crystallized tungsten steel. I don't exactly know how this one works, but we put it in and something should happen. Okay. Yeah, we have to automate it later on. The reason that I'm saying we have to automate some of the things later is that I need to bring the Berserker forges over here. Because in this chunk we are actually producing demonic will. Where they stand, they're garbage. However, I have set in the patterns for the mythic excavation reactor and, well, we can't craft it. Just look at the crazy amount of resources that it needs. It's crazy. We're missing this. Thermoconducting alloy. It needs arsenic. Thankfully, we already have a setup which is making us crushed arsenic. We're going to try and extract it into a melter. Cool. So that is our molten arsenic. We do need to have another melter with an EMC link for boron. A chemical reactor is going to mix both fluids and we get boron arsenic, and an ingot former is going to give us boron arsenide. I don't honestly care about this one. This one can be passive. So all we need is a pattern for the thermoconducting alloy like so. And I guess now I can make my mythic excavation reactor. Ah. Lovely. No clue how long it's going to take. You know, it just needs little things. So many things. And every single machine is working for some reason. I might have to make the mythic empowerer, cause this is taking time. But the rest of the garbage already. If that is the case, I have wonderful news. Today we can get to chapter 7. Just one more core. Come on. Yes, it's done. We have it. Now that we have this super expensive block, what do? Well, we need to make a multi-block. And thankfully it's not a crazy multi-block. It's just a 3x3. I don't care how tall it's going to be. It's called the Mythic Excavation Reactor. We need the actual reactor block, we need 4 power units, and some stellar alloy. We have 20,000 of it. Nice. Normally we should be able to also use a neutronium block to make it go faster, but we don't have enough neutronium. I need to bank all of the neutronium so that we can make a seed. We need 4 ingots for the seed. We're 30% there, I suppose? Actually, now that I'm thinking, I do care how tall it is. Where do we put it? I do need to put it somewhere where I do have access to applied energistics, so this place should be fine. I did hollow out the trunk, I changed the cable, and this should be our machine. Not that bad. It does require 1,000,000 RF in order to operate, so we're going to disable limit, and voila. I guess an ender chest for the output. And this machine has like 2 jobs, and that's it. One of them is to convert diamond lattice to whatever. And one of them is with the neutronium block. So that's it. Our entire patterns. Can we have a recursive Magica-Bob? Perfect. Not enough energy, what? Oh. And is this the wrong hatch? It's okay, we can always change the hatch. Yeah. Cool. And the stupid thing that we just made is going to give us the Appalachia star. I switched the machines, I changed the patterns, but it's not crafting it. Is there like a boo-boo with the recipe? Doesn't it work? It does work. Oh. That's chapter 7, I guess. Ah, thank you. We can change our levels. More fitting. I don't know why it's not working, but this is the pattern that I'm using. The only thing that I think is that there's something wrong with the number, because you need 2 million RF at 10 million RF per tick, which doesn't make any sense. But we are at chapter 7, so who cares? However, before wrapping up today's episode, there are a few things that I want to try and do. You might notice that there is a rift in like 300 meters. I have searched a massive area in search of a rift from dimensional doors, which is within one chunk, so that I can load that chunk, so that I can have an ender chest with an item collector and a filter, so that I can get world threads. Once these guys get very unstable, they're going to produce it anyways. Cause I did ask a few episodes ago, how the hell would you get altered fabric, and nobody told me anything, so yeah. And I don't have world threads at all. And I guess in the meantime we can close our original rift one day. Are you closing? Yes. The other thing is that I want to try and get a few more extreme crafting tables. Just a few. We're just missing the glitched infused ingot. Other than that, we're good. Oh, that's a lot. Oops. Well, I guess we just drop everything into water. It doesn't really hurt to get more. Hopefully this time it's a decent number. Oh, we're done. Okay. Oh, that is a decent number. Okay. I'm happy with that. 900 should last for a while. So let us get ourselves 4 of the extreme crafting tables. We can craft it perfect. What we want to do is to try and get an extra neutronium collector. It's not used for anything, is the problem. Just neutronium. And after you get the seed, it's just basically garbage. You have to throw them away. Well, actually, maybe not, because you need tiny piles of neutrons. Oh, you can craft it from nuggets. Okay. One crafting table is ready, so let us get our neutronium collector. This recipe actually takes a very long time, because you need 1 billion RF at a rate of 100,000 RF per tick. They just wanted to make it irritating, I suppose. Or maybe it helps if you automate it. It's a waste, but let's try. Yeah, I think it's the same problem. Okay, then you don't waste resources. Sorry. We are going to convert 2 of them into the packaged crafter. So there you go. And let me try to find a place to set them up. As usual, I have set up the packager recipes, and the first recipe that we're going to have is going to be for the chicken. I need a lot of unidentified ingots, and unfortunately one chicken is not gonna cut it. Especially a garbage chicken. Also, we do need these machines later on, so why not? Can you craft everything? That was fast. Thank you. So let me try to 10 the chickens. Regardless that we have to throw it away later on or not, I have made 3 neutron collectors. I just moved them over here because this chunk is loaded. Until we get enough neutronium in order to make the seed, there are a few things that I need to do. First is that we hide the rift. That was in my face. Secondly, we are going to start making a brand new fluid called the TOT. I just checked on Google what does it stand for. I have no idea. But I do have an idea on how to get it. Which I'm guessing it's actually quite a good thing because we need to start crafting it. It's a combination of different fluids. We have to start with chlorine and hydrogen. That is going to give us something called hydrogen chloride, which if we start mixing it with some salt water that I'm producing here, is going to give us chloride as well as hydrochloric acid. And that's basically what we want. Actually, both of them. Now, what we need to do with that hydrochloric acid is that we need to put hempcrete dust inside it so that we get inorganic remains. So we just need to take a hemp seed, I guess. Then we're going to upgrade it into 10 using our agricultural comb. We shall somehow scan this. You can't scan this? Well, that doesn't really work, unfortunately. So we have to go the traditional method, and I actually like hemp. So I can't really find anything to complain about. I also made a red matter hoe. Unfortunately, it didn't go inside the farming station. But mystical agriculture seems to be acceptable. So later on, I'm going to make a supremium hoe. Also, one thing that I never knew is that this guy requires water, which is perfectly fine. I'm happy with that. I think it also accepts bone meal as some sort of a fertilizer, but even at this rate, I'm happy with it. The hemp goes inside an ender chest, which we are going to use later on. The extra seeds and the worms we're just gonna void. And for now, I guess I need a better hoe. The player chest does that, don't you worry. It's a bit of a dire wire, but this is how it works. We have an EMC link giving us clay, we have an ender chest which gives us the hemp fiber. Everything goes inside the crafter tier 1, we get hempcrete. There is a manufactory back there, which is making us the dust. Somehow the dust is going inside the fluid enricher and we get inorganic remains using the hydrochloric acid. Now we need to export the inorganic remains into a chemical reactor together with chloride. And honestly speaking, it's good to have a filter. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is called TOT. But again, that TOT has to go inside a crystallizer over here, and that is going to give us something called seraphonite gem. If we put the gem with the impulsion wand inside the crafter, that's what we're going to get. Gadolinium gem. And that gadolinium gem is going to help us make photonium and shadownium. Because previously, this is how I was making it. It's a pain. Especially for the photonium, because you need spirit fragment, and I had to eat like 500 of them. Now we don't have to. We can just craft them, like so. Easy, cheap, and lovely. The final thing that I really want to try and do today is to realign my astral perks. I do have an irradiant star, Dissidia. My light fades away. Something happens. Thank you. Oh, it just shifts. Shifting is good. And I got my gem back. The thing is, whenever I log back into the game, I have to eat like 10 cosmic meatballs or even more just to regenerate health. And as you guys probably know, health in this mod pack counts for nothing. I have 250 hearts and I die like a chicken. So instead, here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay with this idea because it gives us more damage. We are going to unlock the singularity because, well, it gives us additional perks. However, instead of going with Evorsio, Avitus, or Visio, we go with Armara for armor. Perk over here, which says you cannot be knocked back. I really want this one. I guess a bit more armor. Why not? Resistance is fine. And we then focus on damage. There's also critical damage, which I'm willing to take. And now we should be really tough. I think. Let's go punch a Cyclops or something. Actually, a rammer head. I call that knockback. Maybe rammer heads are different. Not sure. It's not just the health which counts for nothing. It's also every single tooltip. I specifically wanted that perk for these guys. Well, who cares? I know I did mention that was the final thing that I wanted to do. There's a teeny tiny bit more. My JEI bookmarks is a bit cluttered. Let's remove some easy items. For a very small and stupid project, what I need are rosite and limonite. That is a polar orsa, which I believe, yeah, it's going to give us rosite. And we do have a super fancy mob farm. Do I need the ice crystals for anything? Not really. So that is off the list. Limonite comes from chimeras. It's every single mob that you're looking for. It's never there. There was a chimera. Oh, okay. He's here. Hi. So he shall go inside another mob farm, and voila, that should be it. So limonite is also off the list. Then fun fact of the day, there is something called a chaos chicken. It's going to be way in the future, but we might as well take care of it. So infused myrmitite, give me 100, external C plus U, voila. And I believe it has to be enchanted myrmitite, so let's do this. Which goes inside the gravitite enchanter, I think. So let's order, I don't know, 100 of those. We need chaos shards. And we actually need only 24 of these things. So that is going to be my chaos chicken. 2 of them, please. And you gave me 2 eggs. Thank you. So the chaos chicken is going to give us the chaotic egg. And chaotic egg is going to give us eventually something called molten chaos. And molten chaos is actually used in a lot of things. We need it for a mythical void resource miner from this age. Also, this might sound a bit stupid, but what if it explodes and destroys like everything in a 300 block radius? Can we place you here? You're fine. You pit him. Those are expensive, you jerk. I don't know, sometimes it places down a baby. You have to feed it seeds. So that is also off the list. I have both chickens, I just have to 10 that. Oh, and by the way, we are gaining threads. I just got 97 of them. So I'm assuming that the rift now should be semi-big, relatively. Yeah, but we're missing a bunch. The thing is, they do have a massive radius, so if I put something here, which is the corner of the chunk, it's gonna destroy it. This one is far away. It's a passive generation, and there are plenty of dimensional doors, so we should be good. Another very small thing is regarding the crystallized tungsten steel. You know, the one that we make inside the Hellfire Forge. I have realized it doesn't actually have that many uses. So yes, you do need to make the bright steel alloy plate. Fluid enricher recipe is just for the definer, and you need half a bucket. And the bright steel alloy plate doesn't have that many uses. And when I say it doesn't have that many uses, it just makes the bright steel case. You need only one of these conduits. You need only one Naquada catalyst. And again, you might need 200 excavation reactors. So 4 stacks of it should be more than enough forever. The only thing which takes a relatively long time is tungsten steel. So yeah, I'll just make a few stacks, then we call it a day. But that is also off the list. We don't care. Another thing is, a few hundred episodes ago, we spawned something called an ender chicken. The altar was next to the base, so I have to move it. Mob griefing is off, but I was scared. Hatch. Jerk. Oh, you're hatching. Whoa. Armor is garbage. Okay, we captured the mob. We shall kill it. Oh, it's dead. Ender chicken fully programmed. What we are actually interested in is the feather, if I do manage to find it. Yes. This thing. We have already done this for Kikoku, but we can also use it for the awakened cores. You know, instead of 1, you get 4. Oh, there is a chaos chicken. Oops. Okay, my fellow dark ones. Wrong chicken. You have to drop a dragon egg. Oh, this takes time. I hope it's not too close to the base. If it explodes, I regret my life choices. I'm just saying. Oh, we're good. Yeah, I'm very grateful that... Wow. Yeah, I was going to say I'm very grateful that mob griefing is off. Shut up. Hatch. The mob was captured. And we kill you. We're done. So do I get the feather? Thank you. So over at our wood farm, we're no longer going to spawn a mage, because I can just put him inside an ultimate mob farm. Instead, we're going to spawn the chaos chicken for a while at least. Chaos chickens do not give you the chaos feather. Okay. Later on we have to fix that, I guess. At least we're going to spawn the Watcher, because what he is going to give us is the Divine Shard. And unfortunately a bunch of netherite. Oops, I just want a shard. I need it for the singularity, just in case you're wondering. Well, we can always throw away some of the netherite, we don't need all of that. Because it's way too much, it's gonna clog up the system. Well, in any case, that's also off the list, I guess. Let's go home. I think the reason that we are not getting the feathers is that this is from Content Tweaker. So it's probably just triggered by a command or something. But if chickens are like that, killing them should not be a problem. I also think there's meant to be a duping recipe for it, but it doesn't really work. Anyways, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.